Fancy a change of career? Then stick around to find out my top 7 reasons to why you should be a video freelancer this year. So we all know there's something different about the term freelancer. Not only are they inherently rebels going against the status quo, why would you want to be one and move away from that stable full-time career? If you think about it, even the Mandalorian is technically a freelancer. He lives by no rules, goes from bounty contract to bounty contract, he rakes in the big bucks, he lives a digital nomad life, traveling on his terms, and has no demanding boss. Jokes aside, the opportunities that freelancing can give far outweigh that of a full-time employee when it's done right. And I'm here to explain why. I first want to start off with a quote by Dr. Jordan Peterson. You should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful, but you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. It goes without saying that work is a huge part of our life, and for most of us it makes up a third of it. If you spend 8 hours sleeping and 8+ hours at work, then you have the remaining third for yourself. So it's clear to me that doing what you love has a huge impact on your happiness and your well-being. With that being said, let's get started with reason number 1, clients. As a freelancer, you have the ability to choose who you want to work with and how often your relationship lasts, and equally choose never to work with them again. If you finish working on a project and didn't have the best experience with that particular client, you can let them go. Some freelancers simply say they're moving in a different direction, others price their clients out of reach, which means that you're willing to work with them, but at a premium. You have the opportunity to work with a wide range of clients in completely different industries and genres, especially if you crave variety in your career and you want to dabble in different fields that you traditionally wouldn't get the chance to in a full-time role. Then you'll love this aspect of freelancing. You're considered the expert in your field. You're the big guns, the specialist, the one they've brought in to get the job done. And therefore, with this responsibility, naturally comes respect.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Your opinion, creative input, and recommendations tend to be highly regarded. Therefore, your self-esteem and relationship with the client tends to be that of an equal, rather than just a worker. It's a distinction that I found for the most part of my career. I'm working with my clients rather than for them. This relationship dynamic is something I really love, and is a big reason to why I have repeat business with those very same clients. On to reason 2, projects. One day you're working on a worldwide campaign that will be seen by millions. The next you're creating a heartfelt commercial for an independent charity. You have the chance to have as much diversity in as many different sectors and genres as you like. As you grow your experience in, say, creating music videos, you may fancy a change one day and pivot into narrative, documentary, or whatever your heart desires. Speaking of project type, the length of the projects can be a huge benefit too. If you're someone who likes to take the ad hoc days off or holidays or weeks on end, then you may prefer the opportunity to work on project lengths that fit you. If you love variety, then you could take on day-long projects and be involved in 20 different projects per month. If you prefer stability and going deep, you could work on a series or a feature film, which tends to be for months on end at a time. It may be a no-brainer, but along with working on client pieces, you also get to work on your own passion projects. It's sometimes hard to justify the time to work on your own projects when you're in a full-time position at 40 hours a week and you may be drained at the end of each day. Whereas freelancing can be far more lucrative, meaning you can work less days for clients and you'll find you have more time to do your own personal projects. This not only benefits your soul, but you can use it for your portfolio to help you get your next role. Number 3, finances. It can be seriously lucrative when you have a roster of clients on your books, which makes you in demand, which means that you can pick and choose the kinds of projects that are worth your time. This also allows you to moonlight, as in take on more than one project at a time whilst you're working for a client. It's far more easier to have multiple clients pay your high fees for separate projects, rather than one client that has an allocated budget for their project. Along with this, you can set your own rates and get instant pay rises from the boss, which is, well, you. You could even charge different rates for particular clients, projects, or roles. Maybe one day you're a junior video editor at £300 a day, but then the next day you're a killer colorist at £850 a day. You base this on your skill level, experience, and the client. If you need help with how much to price yourself, you can check out our quote generator tool. And we have a pricing module inside of our course, which is a deep dive into pricing strategies, how much to charge per day, how to quote your clients, and a ton more. You can claim on business expenses like an office space, staff, gear, software, and so much more. You could also claim VAT back on certain items, like when you buy that shiny new laptop or that brand new camera. You can say goodbye to unpaid overtime. If you've ever been stuck in the office for countless extra hours while working on bank holidays and weekends, you no longer need to worry about being compensated for this. When clients take on freelancers, they're typically hired for a day rate and therefore can charge any additional hours from that. It's unspoken that any additional time that wasn't agreed beforehand will be considered overtime. Of course, I would always recommend to agree an overtime rate before engaging in the gig, which can typically be your normal hourly rate, 1.5 times your rate, or even twice the amount depending on your terms. You don't have to follow the standard trading your time for money pricing structure. Instead, you can bill by the project, set up a retainer where you're paid a set amount each month, or even charge based on the value it brings the client. You could even take on multiple projects by hiring staff to do the creative work, and you take on more of an operational or creative director stance in your company. Lastly, on finances, you can have multiple revenue streams. If you're, say, a motion graphics designer and you may be contracted out to work your magic creating animations for a client, that's one source of income. You also may want to create motion assets or templates to sell on websites like Envato, VideoHive, or Motion Array. If you're a color grader, you may also want to sell your LUT packs on websites to act as a passive income. There are a number of ways you can have active and passive incomes, which we go through in other videos. And although some of these do apply if you were a full-time employee, some companies require intellectual property over everything you create whilst you're working under that brand, meaning you can't really have a side hustle that is in the same line of work as them. Reason 4, skills and portfolio. Like project variety, you equally have the chance to develop and demonstrate several skill sets at a higher rate than if you are at a full-time traditional job. You can decide if you want to be one day you're a camera operator and the next day you're a director. I found that doing several roles, even at a beginner level, has enabled me to have much more of a deeper understanding of each department and allows me to overall be a better post-production artist. The reason is it gives you the ability to communicate at all levels of the production, and you can be seen as the expert to take on advisory or consultant roles like a VFX supervisor on set to oversee how to best shoot the production. Specializing and generalizing. This is sometimes referred to as being T-shaped, where you may be running your own business and have a specialism of video editing, but also learn to do other roles like marketing your content, designing your logos, or creating illustrations for your brand. You equally have the choice to be a specialist and hone in on that one skill and style to carve out that niche to make you stand out. You'll be able to showcase a killer showreel each time you update it because you're working on several projects in a short amount of time. This means as you complete each project, you gain serious portfolio XP and evolve into an unstoppable freelancer.
Well, there's something you don't see every day.
Number 5, balance. As you're the boss, you can have a meeting in front of the mirror and ask for as much time off as and when needed. You're in control over how many hours you want to work per week and how many projects you want to take on, not having to abide by a rigid 9-to-5 schedule with limited holidays. This means you can create a schedule that fits your lifestyle. On that note, your schedule is far more malleable. If you're working remotely and you're working towards an outcome, like editing the commercial for Instagram by end of the day, as long as you deliver the goods as agreed by the client, you have complete ownership to structure your day as you wish. The goal for many people is to work only the necessary amount to cover your overheads and have money left over in your pocket for any luxuries in your life. You spend the rest of your time doing more of the things that you love, therefore having improved mental health and well-being. Next up, 6, location. It goes without saying that working remotely is one of the biggest pros. Not having to commute to a set place at a set time means you can work from an exotic location if your work allows for it. You can save countless hours commuting to an office. Fun fact, I worked out that my 2-hour daily commute to central London was taking 10 hours a week and an average of 500 hours a year on the tube. That's almost sitting for 3 weeks straight on the underground each year. On the theme of a digital nomad life, not only do you have the variety working out of hammocks on a desert island, cool spaces or hipster coffee shops, you also may want to live in a country with a low cost of living, whilst working with high-paying international brands. This is something that I feel like I've found a hack to life, as I'm currently based out in Barcelona and have renowned clients that I'm working with internationally. Think about where would you like to work from if you had the choice. And lastly, 7, growth. Freelancing is certainly one of those you get what you put back in choices. The deeper care, attention and investment you put in benefits you and your business directly. There's something deeply satisfying about knowing everything that you do contributes to the success of your brand that you've built from the ground up. You can scale your company as little or as large as you want. Would you rather have a creative empire and build a team that you love working with, or have a humble one-man or one-woman company, or even a hybrid of the both? A hybrid would be that if you're a small business that hires in contractors for large projects, you can delegate responsibilities in your company as and when you like. For me, I love the majority of running a business, although there's some roles like graphic design, SEO and social media ads that I delegate to other contractors, and even bring on other creatives to support me on more demanding projects. You dictate the size of your company. So those are my 7 tips to why you should be a video freelancer this year. The honest truth is that it can be initially difficult to get started freelancing, as you need to build a client base and a name for yourself, but the benefits for me completely outweigh that of a full-time worker. When you're earning 5 times the salary working half the amount anywhere in the world with high-end brands and on meaningful projects, it's a no-brainer that freelancing is totally worth it. Now you're probably feeling intrigued by freelancing and thinking, Nick, how do I get started? Well, I have a video in this series exactly on that, so be sure to check it out. If you're looking to get to the industry secrets and want to shortcut your entire freelancing journey, which has led me to work with world-renowned brands like Adidas, Google, Estee Lauder, Huawei, and many more, I have an entire course called Freelance Mastery dedicated to showing you exactly how to do this. Everything from bringing in your very first to a constant stream of clients using strategies that I've used for over 13 years. How to price your services, get higher paying clients, increase your day rate and pricing strategies. Using our templates to communicate to your future prospects. We have a number of freelance tools that do everything from automatically brief and quote your clients, set up your video projects, manage your finances and a ton more. And all this with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you can make a risk-free decision today. So if you want to jumpstart your freelancing career, go ahead and check out our free taster course in the description below, which is available now. And it shows you how to get your very next client today. If you have any questions about freelancing, then drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.